window, Meg could glimpse a sliver of the 10-foot rock wall that circled the habitat. A large swimming pond took up the far side of the space, and various trees and shrubs dotted the sandy ground. 2 large, flat boulders were powered with internal heaters to keep their surfaces toasty warm, perfect for afternoon basking. The area even boasted a cave for some privacy. At 500 square feet, the exhibit was bigger than Meg's first college apartment. It was exactly the kind of environment that a Komodo dragon should live in, if it had to live in a zoo. Except today, Meg's job was to get that dragon out. She unlocked and opened a window on the holding room's restraint box, which was basically a reinforced coffin with air holes, and dropped in the backside of a chicken, minus some feathers and guts. Relocking the window, she walked to the other end of the box and lifted a steel lever attached to the wall. A low, creaking motion inside the wall signaled that the door had opened, connecting the exhibit to the restraint box. Curtain up. She paced back to the main exhibit door and lifted herself up to her toes to peer through the lead glass. The metal cooled a circle into her stomach through the uniform, and her breath fogged the window. 1 second. 2. There was no reason to step inside to call her when the chicken would do all the work. Komodos could smell carrion 2 miles across the Indonesian savanna. A 40-foot distance would be like shoving a piping hot pizza in Jata's face. The pool and basking rocks were empty, so Meg focused on the cave, which wasn't really a cave. The rock outcropping that supported the visitor's viewing platform hovered over the exhibit a couple feet above the dirt floor. It was a crevice, if anything, just a thin, black cavity tucked underneath the constant stream of visitors. That's where Jata appeared. At first, she was just a bust, some kind of sculpture made out of copper running to green. Her square snout protruded out from the shadows, and she tasted the air with a flick of forked yellow, confirming what had woken her from her nap. Chicken. It flashed from her tongue to her eyes, which darted immediately to where the mini door opened into the restraint box. Climbing out of the cave in 2 giant lunges, Jata broke into the open space in dead pursuit of a free lunch. This was the best part, watching Jata walk. Did those European explorers feel the same awe when they caught their first glimpse of a Komodo dragon? Jata walked diagonally, 1 foot in time with the opposite hind leg, in a sweeping, swaggering motion. Her tail pumped out behind her like a 3-foot-long, bone-encrusted rudder, stirring up dirt and leaves, and even a few wadded-up napkins in her wake. Sweep, swagger. She walked. Sweep, swagger, and even though her head bobbed up and down in time, her eyes never moved. They had locked in on the restraint box door. She passed underneath Meg's window and out of sight. And then from inside the box came the clicking of claws on wood, the rustle and brush of scales against the walls, and finally, after a beat, the juicy rip of chicken. Meg slammed the lever down. She had to be quick. Even sleepy, Jata liked to grab the bait and wriggle back out before she was trapped. There was a thump in the box near her ankle, a disgruntled tail. "Sorry, sweetheart, but this won't take long." Patting the box near an air hole, Meg picked up a flashlight and a shovel and let herself into the exhibit. The few visitors strolling down the reptile kingdom path cocked their heads and waited to see if Meg would do anything interesting. Behind bars, humans were just as fascinating as animals. Without breaking stride, Meg scooped up the napkins and chucked them up into the walkway. At least napkins were biodegradable. Freaking people used the turtle pond as a wishing well, and then they had to do surgery to pull $1.85 out of the turtle's stomach. The visitors, a couple of teenagers holding hands, rolled their eyes and kept walking to the exit. No one else appeared around either corner of the path, so after a quick double-check of the keeper's entrance to make sure the coast was clear, Meg clicked off the radio on her belt, turned on the flashlight, and wriggled into the cave. As a juvenile, Jata had scampered in and out of this place freely, but as the years passed and she grew to more than 6 feet long and 180 pounds worth of scale and muscle, the cave became a tight fit, and she'd started burrowing. At first, Meg hadn't even realized it. The whole place was so hidden. But then the dirt started mounding up at the sides of the rock, along with all the loose bits of gravel and sand, just like an avalanche waiting to happen. It was natural enough for a